In CLS1, we made the design brief, which was the giant PDF. We had to write our name on it. We had to write who we're making it for. We had to come up with our design statement. To make my design statement, I used ChatGPT. I gave them the PDF, and then I gave them a prompt to write a design statement using all of the constraints and all the information on the PDF. In CLS2, we made our preliminary sketches and our design brief. To do the design brief, we had to make our preliminary sketches first. So you could look up research online, and then I found a lot of my references looked a lot like this, similar shapes but definitely smaller wheels. And once I had my research done, then I could start my preliminary sketches. One of my preliminary sketches was just a rectangle like this, and then my second and third preliminary sketches were similar to this, but with the wheels weren't as big and I didn't have the coupling system on. And then once I had finished all my sketches, I did the design brief where I took all my sketches and took criteria from the design brief and the criteria and the constraints, and I just took them, gave them 1 to 4 points, and whichever train had the most amount of points was going to be the one that I used, which ended up being this design. This design is a little bit different from what I planned, such as this little niche here, not here, the light is different. This is different than what I'd planned. There were supposed to be 2 different things, but I only ended up with 1. I didn't include the dowel rods in my final sketches, which I would do if I did it again. I also changed the dimensions for how the parts went together. And I also created the inside parts are different than what I had originally designed. In CLS4, we made all of the stuff on CAD. So first, you had to take your your final sketches, then go part by part building it. The hardest part was probably getting the size constraints for the pieces and then making sure that everything wouldn't interfere with each other, which was part of it. We had to make an interference screenshot showing that no parts interfered with each other. And then we also had to make the design packet with everything from the project, the dowel rods, the whole thing, each individual part, that kind of stuff. And then once you submitted that, then you build your prototype. So it was all built together using hot glue. This one wasn't the best hot gluing. This is about to fall off, so I'll re-glue that. But a lot of it, if you, I don't know if you can see, but how these are 2 different sizes. Both of these. This one was originally this size, but it did not fit in this hole. So I had to sand it down and shave it off in order to get it to work. And it still doesn't work the best, but it does work. So I guess that works. But because of the hot glue that's on the underneath, this wheel doesn't work all the way. So if I were to do this again, I would probably use less hot glue in areas that would be important, such as like on the inside of these wheels. I put a lot of hot glue, which makes it hard for them to turn. And then I would make sure that the part that would hold the battery wouldn't break off when I built it again, because you can see that there was a spot right here connected to this piece. There's a spot where the battery would have gone and another piece that would connect to it for that to be built. And then CLS5, I went over the prototype. I talked about how I built it, what I would change. I would probably have spent more time on the actual building and making the hot glue better so that things spun better. And then in CLS6, I'm doing this video and I'm analyzing and I'm giving my solution. So this is my train. It got a 9.75 out of 12, I believe. It is safe for children. These parts won't come off, and they're like a child's not gonna be swallowing these. This part right here might be the only safety hazard for a child, but that's it. It moves. The wheels move well. The LED does work with a battery. My original LED did not work, but now it does work. It's lightweight. It won't break if you move it. None of the pieces are gonna fall off. And yeah, that is my Automata train project.